for a mammal is related to its body mass. Think about it. Think of a little mouse, tiny little mouse, and a teddy bear, a polar bear. So, yeah. The resting heart rate for a mammal is related to its body mass, m in kilograms, by this equation. The directions are rewrite, so it's h is equal to, or approximately equal to 241, and it is the fourth root of m, and m being mass. Okay, so rewrite this equation using a rational exponent. Why might a scientist be interested in this equation?
Because it's to figure out the resting heart rate.
Okay. Okay, why do they want to know what the resting heart rate is?
So if an animal,
If you're a veterinarian, you can tell if something's extremely wrong.
yeah, if it's hurt, they can give it
Absolutely.
and see how it
Okay,
affects.
so that would be, so think about resting heart rates in a mammal this size compared to a mammal, let's say if you're doing research on humans, or you're doing research on mice or rats or laboratory. So is there an application? Absolutely. Now, how did they derive that formula? I don't know, but they obviously think about how any equation or formula is derived, and it's about data. So they must have taken a lot of data and made an observation about and come to this equation. Okay, and that's all these formulas are. It's a collection of data, and that's what people who study public health, public policy, if you're a scientist, etc. It's all about collecting data, trying to synthesize it and make it meaningful, and that's it. So you're just learning what these equations and what these symbols mean. Okay, so questions. Let's just do the reflect first, because I want to make sure that we understand that. So why is it possible, number one, to take the cube root of a negative number? Okay, Kayla?
I said because if you figure about it, like if you multiply negative by negative, it's positive. So if you multiply negative by negative by negative, it's negative.
Okay, so is it possible to take the cube root of a negative number? And we've learned that we can't do that with a positive, okay? With an even number. How could you estimate the 3/2 power of a number without using a calculator? 3/2 of a number. Cassie?
You find the square root and cube.
Yeah, find the square root and cube it. All right? So if I had 2 to the 3/2, or let's go with, let's go 16, and I know that I would be 4, and then I could cube it, okay? And, explain some of the advantages of why do we want to use rational exponents instead of radicals when simplifying radical expressions? Why might you want to use radical, what does it say? Rational exponents. Anybody? I had, this is a mess. I don't know what's happening with this board.
Maybe that marker.
Yeah. If I had x to the 1/2 and x to the 3/2, how would I simplify that?
Maybe 2 rad x. Oh, never mind.
What's the rule for multiplying exponents?
Add.
So what am I going to have?
4.
4 rad x to the 4/2, or x to the, 2? X squared? Would that be easier to deal with my rational exponents than saying, well, gee, I have this.
How's it easier to put in the calculator?
Which one is easier to deal with? Weren't just having the rational exponents easier to deal with? Okay, so sometimes you want to be able to go back and forth because it depends on what is easier to use. Okay. All right, questions on then the other problems? I have one question. I know that there were questions on 19. Does anybody have any questions on, what did you get for, let me see, number 13? You want me to show you the answers and then we can make sure that everybody has them accurately? Is that okay? So I want to make sure, you may have been checking your answers with your neighbor, but I'll see if I can zoom in. We'll do them like down and then okay, so is everybody good with number 3? Okay, number 7, go down. So it's this quantity, so I know that it is the 7th root of this to the 5th power. And in this case, I can rewrite it back, so it was given to me in this. I know I'm taking this quantity, and it's going to be to the 5/6 power.
Why are the parentheses there?
The parentheses are saying this whole thing is being raised to the 5/6 power, as opposed to maybe one of them or part of it. So that whole quantity. Okay? So then number, let's see what we have here. So number 4, we're going to have, we have the 5th root. This one was interesting. Everybody get that one for number 8? Okay, let's talk about why that is. Number 8. So if I rewrite this, this is the 10th root of this, right? And so I have n to the 9th, and this thing is being raised to the 10th power. Okay, so isn't this m to the 3/10 times n to the 9/10?
It's 1/10 probably.
Sorry, what?
It's the 1/10 power.
Sorry. Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that you're checking your work accurately.
If on the quiz we did it, like m to the 3rd and n to the 9th, right, like with 1/10, with 1/10 like that, mark is wrong, even though it's right, it's not simplified.
What are you saying, if you left it like this?
Yeah,
And, well, you haven't simplified it.
then would you just take off like half?
Yes. Yeah. I'm trying to get you to see that you're going to be simplifying it. Okay, so are we good with number 12?
I see how you
Okay, so remember, a number that's in the denominator is small. So will the exponent be positive or negative?
Negative.
Okay, so I know that I'm going to have a negative, and I know that's hard to see, and that is it's a negative p to the negative 2/3, because it's out in the denominator. Okay? Number 13 is a tricky one. So number 5, we're okay? How did that get that n to the 10th?
But
Okay, so let's just look at that. Okay, so I know that it is going to be 3n to the 5th what? Squared. That's being raised to the 2nd power, so it's going to be the cubed root of n to the 10th.
you don't have to wait till it's out of the red then.
No. I would try, you're trying to simplify things as much as possible. Okay, now this next one, I'm just gonna I think it's that marker. Okay. And I'm not going going to explain this. Let's see if you can understand this one. You see that?
13.
Yeah?
I'll get more comments.
Okay, let's see if somebody can explain why. Stephen?
Well, it would be, 7 would be the index.
Yeah.
And then you'd have the whole entire thing multiplied, brought up by 2.
So that brings us here, and everybody got this part?
Yep.
Okay,
And since you're multiplying those by 2, it'd be 3 times 2 and 4 times 2, making 6 and 8.
okay.
But then after
Or,
that-
so how did they get here? Jess?
Because there are 7 B's that you can take out of that, out of the 8
Because
of
the
them.
index is 7, and how many do you have? 8. So why did they use the absolute value symbol here?
Because it was negative?
Because it could be positive or negative.
Because is this, all right, so in here, they're talking about that they want it's an even amount, so they want the positive value of what came out. So there is your positive in here and your positive in there.
Wait, why does it have to be positive?
Because this exponent here is 8.
Oh, well, because there's an even number of the total.
Right. Okay, so I just thought that, I really wanted to make sure that you saw, when you corrected your homework, that you saw those little nuances. And that's what they are, they're just little nuances. All right, you ready then? Oh, and you had 6 through 10? Okay, and I think there was nothing special. Again, I have my negative exponent. I know we're talking about a fractional number, so it just comes right down below.
What about 14?
And 14. What happened here?
Maybe I just didn't go far enough. That's possible.
Yeah, we did.
No, I didn't personally.
No, he said we didn't do it.
Oh, yeah, we did.
What's happening?
That
Other
makes
than
Okay.
sense. Could you just do 2n squared parentheses to 3/8?
Okay, and then
Yeah.
it's been distributed throughout.
Do you have to do that?
To simplify, I mean, you know, this is
That one.
asking you, do you understand what happens when you are raising a number to a power? And so, would the other one be wrong? No, but this is asking you to demonstrate your knowledge of that concept. That's what is happening.
Why is the n an absolute value?
The n.
Yeah.
So I would have had, oh, is that the only one that came out?
No, that's the only one that ended up in absolute value.
Because I have what as my index?
Oh, because it got simplified from 3/8.
Okay, so it's an even, my index is even, so I want the positive value of it. It was the same one as the one before. When I have an even exponent and I'm taking something out, I'm looking for the positive value of it.
But you didn't